Meow. I'm back. Where have I been? Doesn't matter. What matters is we all need a lot of distractions right now. So I masked up and dove into a dumpster in my new neighborhood. And what did I find? 2019's Cats. This review is either too soon or too late. Remember in 2019 when we thought Cats was the worst thing that could happen to a year? Cats is based on the 1980s stage musical written by Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, who based the musical on a book of poems by T.S. Eliot entitled Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. Not sure if old Thomas Stearns wrote this book and thought to himself, you know what would make this more kid-friendly? Spandex and thrusting. Either way, recently Mr. Webber teamed up with director Tom Hopper to make the star-studded film version of Cats. Apparently the original intention was to make the film animated, until Hopper got involved and said, nah, let's just make it sort of animated. Let's make it largely animated, but let's try to make it look like it's not animated. That sounds good. As a result, not many people liked it. Let's find out why. Now for the record, I've been lectured in the comments about my cursing and been called Satan once or twice, so I should probably not have that reputation as a lady, however proud of that reputation I might be, but no, I am going to behave as much as possible in this review and not curse. For that, I'm gonna need one of these. You can't take all of my unladylike habits. A pair of women's feet exit a car and throw a pillowcase into the alley. In the pillowcase is a cat. So the other cats sing at her about how being a jellicle cat is amazing. What does jellicle mean? You'll find out, maybe? Suddenly the cats scatter mid-lyric.
Going to the ball.
If so, can she borrow your coat?
You know, they say McCavity will win this year.
Is a McCavity what happens when you eat too much McDonald's? Orphan Cat's name is Victoria, and the other cats tell her that she must have another name, a secret name, and she's really confused by this. Perfect reason for another show-stopping song. It's not even really a song so much as a weird chant.
That's the name that you never will guess.
Apparently Jellicle means weird cult. The cats sing, chant, talk and tune whatever about how the Jellicle ball will determine which cats get to go to the Heaviside lair.
The Heaviside lair?
All the cool cats go there. It's basically heaven, I guess. But tonight, the most deserving cat will be sent there to be reborn.
So they can be who they've always dreamed of being.
The MGM Lion. Each cat vying for the privilege of being killed off and reborn must sing a delightful song about themselves to win over old Deuteronomy's favor. The first entry is a Gumby cat named Jenny Anydots, who is apparently lazy all day and performs dance routines with mice at night. As you do. Oh, she also trained the house's cockroach infestation to do a fancy dance routine as well. Don't worry though, she occasionally eats them too. Maybe she wants to be reborn so she doesn't have to wear a cat onesie all the time. Suddenly,
It's a little old-fashioned, don't you think?
bad British accents are old-fashioned too.
Don't take on so.
Shut up, Dick Van Dyke. Why are the cats wearing fur coats? Isn't that like humans wearing skin coats? Stop, Buffalo Bill, before you even think about popping on the screen. This is Rum Tom Tugger, who is also trying to be the Jellicle pick, and his deal is apparently he's incredibly picky and likes to flirt with women. So, typecasting? Typecatting? No? Okay.
Stop milking it!
Mine was better. Speaking of milk, apparently milk pubs are a thing in this universe, and is anyone else creeped out by the idea of peach milk? Outside of the bar, Rum Tum Tugger hisses at this cat for whatever reason, so this cat starts babbling about male cats and tattered coats.
Look what the cat dragged in.
They're letting Rebel Wilson improvise. Oh, fun times ahead. Meanwhile, Bustopher Jones also wants to go to the Heaviside lair, and his thing is he is fat. That's really about it. While he's singing about himself, though, Jenny Anydots gets disintegrated by McCavity? Really, movie? Cheap puns and now an oh my balls joke? McCavity tempts Bustopher Jones with a trash can full of scraps and makes him disappear or disintegrate as well. Victoria winds up with two mischievous cats named Mongo Jerry and Rumble Teaser, who of course sing about how they rob houses. Wait, they're cat burglars? I don't know I appreciate that one. I don't know if these two are applying as a pair for the Heaviside layer or whatever, but they're singing about themselves anyway. Until a vase falls over and crashes when they are not nearby, and that's what alerts them to run away. Not the other ruckus they've been making this whole time, but a vase tipping over downstairs. Meanwhile, those cats Macavity made disappear, yeah, they wind up on a barge in the middle of the Thames River. As you do.
You're not going anywhere. I'm determined to win, and I prefer my competition chained up.
This gives us a reason to meet Growl Tiger, the river cat, as he growls a brief song that doesn't tell us much of anything, but apparently we don't care at this point. Actually, they're right about that part. Victoria and Mr. Mistopheles return just in time for them to introduce Old Deuteronomy, by song, of course. Now it's time for the Jellicle Ball, where all of the cats do this. Why are the cats wearing sneakers? I really need to stop asking these questions because nobody's gonna answer them, I just know it. While Grizabella sings part of Memory, the most famous song from the musical, we see some disturbing behavior from the dead foliage. This is not how leaves behave in the breeze. Victoria sings at Grizabella that, hey, you have cool stories from your past, I don't, so shut up. Old Deuteronomy introduces herself to Victoria. How she pulled herself away from all of this is a mystery. This is when we start the audition process for Old Deuteronomy to select the Jellicle cat who is to go to the Heaviside lair. Wait a minute! The audition hasn't started yet! You made us sit through how many introduction songs already? What the heck? What the heck? Mr. Mistopheles tells Gus the theater cat that it's his turn to sing, so he does. As soon as Gus returns backstage, Macavity disintegrates him onto the boat as well, and I have no idea why they felt the need for Macavity to say random words related to himself every time he does this.
Meow! Macavity! Meow! Ineffable.
Skimbleshanks the railway cat is next.
I'd been busy in the luggage van.
Doing what? Apparently riding a train all of his life and tap dancing. How much money am I missing out on by not giving you tap dance lessons? When Skimbleshanks at the end of his song spins into the air and disintegrates, now people start to get concerned. Macavity is apparently too lazy to sing his own song, so he gets Cat Taylor Swift to sing it for him. His deal? He commits crimes and escapes before the police can get there. And that's why he should be reborn, sure? Taylor sprinkles catnip on everyone and they all get really high and cooperative in the ensuing dance number. I'm sure many people want to see Idris Elba naked, but I feel like this is not what any of them had in mind. And if you did, well, congratulations. When Old Deuteronomy tells Macavity that
I choose the cat that deserves a new life,
he disintegrates her too. The cats finally figure out that Macavity made her disappear, so Victoria convinces Mr. Mistopheles to magic her back. Their words, not mine. But not before we sing about him. Look, old Dude is walking the plank. You may want to hurry it up a bit. Of course, after several unsuccessful attempts, the cats sing at him some more, and suddenly it works. Back on the boat, Macavity gets pissed, takes Taylor Cat, and disintegrates somewhere. Naturally, this leads to a fight scene and more improvising from Rebel Wilson. I had hoped her being kidnapped ended that, but no. They throw Growl Tiger into the water, and now they have to figure out how to get off of the boat. Victoria talks or sings Grizabella into coming into the ball and singing for Old Deuteronomy.
you are the Jellicle choice.
Oh, I wasn't applying. I was just here to vent. Of course Doot chooses Grizabella for the Heaviside layer because, let's face it, besides maybe old decrepit Gus, she's the only one with a valid reason to want to be reborn. I mean, what are the other arguments? I train small animals to dance before eating them. I'm really picky. I'm really fat. We mess up houses. I tap dance on trains. I'm evil. I'm a magician. So she climbs into a broken chandelier and it flies away to the Heaviside layer. Macavity tries to hitch a ride on it, but he slips off. The end? No. Old Doot sings directly at us for 2 minutes straight, and it's not at all awkward or uncomfortable or uninformative.
A cat is not a dog.
No shit, Sherlock. Fuck, God damn it. So why is Cats the musical in the dumpster? Well, let's start with why does it exist? Who was asking for this film? I really don't know. The stage production is one of the longest running shows on Broadway and the West End in London. The Tokyo production, even to this day, has a specially built theater for the show. Worldwide, it's earned billions of dollars, it's won the Best Musical at the Laurence Olivier Awards and the Tonys, meaning there's an audience for this despite how polarizing it is among theater goers. Some people love this show. They're weird. They're entitled to their opinion. Some people hate this show. They don't understand why a children's book has been turned into an adult show. And I'm not talking adult like starring Stormy Daniels or the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Maybe a little bit. It's kind of like taking the Wiggles and expecting adults to take it seriously as art. So what are the reasons people like Cats the musical? After some research, I have found the top 5 reasons in no particular order of why most people like the stage production. And most of them seem to be pretty strictly connected to the reasons they hated the film. In fact, most of them are pretty strictly connected to one particular aspect of the film people hated. 3 letters. CGI. Reason number 1, the costumes. If you are trying to make a human look realistically like a cat live, you're going to run into some production problems. For this reason and others, the costuming is more representational of cats and the other depicted animals. Most theater goers are used to this kind of thing, and many times applaud such efforts as part of the appeal of live theater. Seeing the ingenuity of the costumers and set designers to suggest a place in character despite the fact that we can clearly see that it's not real. Film, on the other hand, is heavily dependent on realism most of the time. Apparently, the director Tom Hopper was hellbent on his decision to CGI all of the costuming on the actors, and this was the big downfall. According to T.S. Eliot's widow, her late husband felt that, if portrayed on film or stage, these cats should be more of a mixture between human and feline. But simply because one person has such an opinion does not mean the masses are going to agree with that opinion, even if that person is the author. What we end up with is, well, this. You start to think the cats are cute, but then you realize their anatomy is too human, but not that human, so then it just starts to feel awkward to watch. It doesn't help that the CGI is just really sloppy in this film, mainly because it was rushed by the director, hoping to get it out in time for the 2020 Oscars. How did that work out for you, Tom? Number 2, the sex appeal. Yeah, I went there. Let's just say Rum Tum Tugger's thrusting is not just to further the plot. I am of course using the term plot in the broadest sense possible here. With the film, again, the cats are this weird hybrid mix of CGI'd cat and some human anatomy showing through that you feel weird thinking any of this is sexy. Maybe the furries are cool with this, and if so, vaya con Dios, you're faring better than the rest of us at this point. 3, the dancing. The dancing in Cats is pretty spectacular. Most musical film adaptations screw up the dancing part as it is. There's a difference between this and this. I will demonstrate with my impressive backflip now. Got it on the first try. 4, the catchy music and vocals. Considering the entire stage show is music with little to no dialogue, you need strong singers, or at least strong character singers. The film adaptation, meanwhile, relied so much on name recognition for publicity that we ended up with, well, even the actual singers that are in the film, their singing is just meh. 5, the experience. Fans of the stage show talk about being transported to a different world. The show is an escape from their mundane or troubling lives. Again, do you want to be in this world? Surrounded by feline humanoid things? With cartoony sets which are at times disproportionate to the cats themselves? I mean, I guess that's a matter of opinion, but it's not surprising that many people said no. Between the fact that the reasons for making the stage show in the first place were tentative at best, Andrew Lloyd Webber just liked the book as a kid, translating stage to screen is a very tricky art, rushed production, technical issues, and other reasons, Cats is one of the worst films, if not the worst film of 2019, and possibly the last musical film adaptation we'll see in a long time. With any luck. Webber Wilson. That wascally Webber Wilson.